$7.8 billion for environmental justice going towards woke universities.
I think they mean black. Yeah. It's just another way to say thug or something else, right? Like we said, it doesn't belong to us anymore. And, you know, once something goes out in the world, it takes a life of its own. It's an energy of its own. I can tell you what woke means.
Please.
It just means being aware.
When it comes to the woke boogeyman,
Critical race theory and all this other woke BS.
Players are woke. They're aware. They know what's going on, and we just got to continue these conversations of the different things that are happening.
Lauren Boebert leads the charge.
As we have heard today, there are numerous concerns related to so-called environmental, social, and governance policies being indoctrinated into accounts by woke asset managers.
Though it is not just the Colorado Congresswoman.
I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now, so before my final nail gets put in my cancel culture casket, I think I'd like to set the record straight.
It's New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
When you look in the dictionary, woke is an adjective meaning that you're alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. And it's something that originated in the African American community. And he should, using it in that way is despicable and very dismissive to the origin.
How do you define woke?
There's a lot of things. I mean, you want to start with biological boys playing in girls' sports. That's one thing. The fact that we have gender pronoun classes in the military now. I mean, all of these things that are pushing what a small minority want on the majority of Americans.
Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley can't define it either.
Now that we have this book banning culture rising up, it has to be fought, because if we don't fight it, if we don't inform, if we don't teach off the court basketball stuff, doesn't mean much. But off the court, it's important, because there's a void there, and it's an intentional void at this point. So we can't let it become normal. When it becomes normal, then we got real problems, and I think that's the goal in a lot of ways, to change the status quo of so-called woke. Woke ain't bad. Woke means you're alive. It means you're paying attention.
Yet one former athlete sees through it all.
And he wanted to secure our country and protect us.
To say that the wall that he has promised across the entire border is being built is disingenuous, on top of the fact that he said that Mexico was going to pay for it. Those are issues that is demonstrably untrue.
That being Houston Texans great Arian Foster. He's gone at it with the likes of Tommy Lauren in the past on Fox's airwaves.
The problem lies in the resistance to the progression that people want to have happen in society. If you're a student of history, that's one thing that is consistent, is that if you look back at every single protest, there is an opposition saying this is not the right way to do things, right? Every single one.
He has gone on Pardon My Take and offered deep breakdowns on current events in the U.S.
Like my sons are not gonna play football.
No?
No.
Wow, that's crazy. You wouldn't let them do that.
No, I'm pushing them to go towards like education. I want them to be scientists. Like if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have never play football.
Really?
I'd be a scientist. Not even.
You would start from the beginning. Like if you could go back to college, and knowing what you know now. Wow.
Not even close.
And has been open about his life in football. Now, when Fox News feasted their eyes and ears on Bill Belichick heir apparent Gerard Mayo's opening presser for the Patriots,
I empathize, because imagine growing up black and your last name is Mayo.
This was their response after hearing this.
I do see color, because I believe if you don't see color, you can't see racism. And whatever happens, black, white, disabled person, I've always, even someone with disabilities, I always, for the most part, people are like, when they're young, they kind of make the spot hot. Younger people know what that means. But what I would say is, like, no, I want you to be able to go up to those people and really understand those people. So it goes back to whatever it is, black, white, yellow, it really doesn't matter, but it does matter so we can try to fix a problem that we all know we have.
And how did they open up their segment on Gerard Mayo?
Is a new season of wokeness beginning with the NFL?
Meanwhile, Arian Foster saw through it all.
Yeah, I think like you can find woke if you're really looking for it everywhere.
There's no such thing as woke.
Go on.
New Rumble show? Who this? It's a facade. Woke is like the new. I don't know. It's they box in shadows. Anything that they don't like, they just label it as woke.
Because you know that you can get clicks.
Yeah, they put a it's like a flag they can carry. We're against this, and it's just never really defined. It was hijacked from black folks once again, and they flipped it as a pejorative.
Foster, now a co-host with PFT on the show Macro Dosing, spewed nothing but facts. Essentially, per awful announcing, Foster explained that when Fox News and other conservative outlets resort to calling something woke, it no longer means much of anything. The phrase has been overused to the point that it isn't all that powerful anymore. A fair point. Recall this.
Woke ideology. Woke ideology. Woke executives. Florida is where woke goes to die.
This dude ran on being Trump light and intentionally used woke in any sentence he could place the word and still got crushed. By the way, shout out to Christina Pushaw. Great campaign. So strong, so brave.
And so when you say I'm anti-woke, when you talk about wokeness, you're saying I'm anti-black and I don't want black people to speak up for themselves. I don't want equality and justice for black folks. So I say to those that say wokeness, 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 we're anti-woke. This is not wokeness, what we talked about in here. And you should be on the side of folks who are woke because we're saying no more oppression against our community.
Via NBC News, woke, which has a long history in black culture, was propelled into the mainstream in 2014 by activists protesting after Michael Brown, a black teen, was shot and killed by police in Ferguson. Stay woke was a warning to be vigilant, as Black Lives Matter protests were met with considerable police force. It evolved to encapsulate a broader social justice mantra. To be woke is now defined as to be cognizant of racial and social injustices. As always, if we have missed something because there is only so much time in a day, please do get at me. I will throw up the graphic once more. If you want to send me a story on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, please do so. On this front, it is quite clear. The Republican and conservative even playbook is to see a term that can be easily manipulated, overuse it, label it to essentially mean, and I like how Arian Foster put it, the boxing shadows. Essentially, they use it incorrectly, intentionally, to demean its use and turn it into, well, it's just anything that I don't like. When did definitions become so loose? When did one set of voters continually try to manipulate the minds of their base by misusing origins of words, of historical facts? It's quite clear. And in a later clip, I'll get into the public education system being eroded right before our eyes. It is all by design. What I do find to be rather interesting, though, is those who continually use this word over and over again. At some point, it will get tiresome. It already is for those who actually understand what it means. But it really does feel like at this point, they will move on to something else, just as they did with Dr. Seuss, just as they did with Mr. Potato Head. So it remains to be seen. Regardless, Arian Foster has been fantastic on many issues. Please subscribe to his podcast with PFT, Macro Dosing, and follow him across his social media channels. Endorsement, 2 thumbs up.